And greetings, saints of God. It's a pleasure for me to once again address you as the church family, to share with you things that are happening here at the Berean Church, just to keep you abreast of what is happening, where we're going, what has already been done and accomplished. Right now, the community service is at work again, taking care of the needs of many of our church family members and our community residents. We are glad that God has enabled us and empowered us to do this ministry. And it is a ministry because we're not just interested in just giving them a basket of food, but we want to impact their lives in a way where God can be glorified and God can be lifted up. For the Thanksgiving, over 1,000 families and individuals were served, and I said that with such joy in my heart. To God be the glory. We are tremendously blessed to have this privilege to touch lives in such a meaningful way during this pandemic. We thank those of you who have been sending in funds for community services. The funds are needed and greatly appreciated, and we want to assure you that every penny that you send in gets used for that purpose. So again, thank you on behalf of the pastoral team. This month, as we are looking at the conclusion of a year that has been like no other in recent times, with COVID dictating so much of what has happened, nonetheless, we thank God for His blessings. We spoke to Sister Gail Newton a couple of weeks ago at the Berean village, and thank God things are moving relatively well. We thank God that there's been no major outbreaks in terms of our residents, that God has been tremendously gracious to us, and for this we give you thanks. Give Him thanks. Continue to pray for Gail and Elder Hairston and the other leaders over at the Berean village, that God will protect them and God will keep them, and the residents, that God will bless and protect them. Again, relative to our reopening, we were on a pretty lengthy meeting with our president yesterday. That's a weekly pastors meeting. And again, we're urged to use best practices for those who are here on Sabbath. Even the churches that have been reopened and members were coming back in incremental stages, we were advised to sort of basically put the brakes on that because the numbers are trending in the wrong direction, and this thing is serious. It's deadly. And so those of you who have called to ask, when are we reopening? We don't know. Again, I'll say it again. Every so often, a member would call, just being transparent, and say, Pastor, can I just come? We have not turned anyone away. And it hasn't been many. One or two have asked, and we have not turned them away. However, they must abide by the health regulations, must have your mask on. We do take our temperatures. Our medical team, under the leadership of Dr. Gibson, has provided medical personnel each Sabbath for the last several weeks to make sure that all of our temperatures are within the guidelines as set forth by the CDC and the best medical practices today. So don't just show up. If you just show up, you will not be allowed to come in. We don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. We don't want to embarrass anyone. So if you have that urge to come, please make sure that you call Pastor Saunders or myself to make sure that you will know what needs to be done. But the church is not open. But as I said, in all transparency and being candid, we've had requests, one or two members ask, can I just come? I just long to sit in my church on Sabbath. And we have not said no. But keep in mind, don't just show up. We won't be able to accommodate you if you just show up. So please keep that in mind. For the month of December, we have a few things that are happening that you ought to be aware of. We've said it, want to reiterate it again. On December 12th, we have a Children's Day, and they have been practicing. They have been preparing themselves. I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to see what our children and our leadership of our children's division, what they have planned for us. So Sabbath the 12th, be sure to tune in. On the 19th, we have our annual Christmas program. It'll be scaled back, of course. We don't have the choirs, and we will not be doing the full cantata and all the things that customarily have been done. But we will have a musical presentation and some narration by the pastors during the Sabbath services. So please keep that in mind. On the evening of the 19th, and we are working out the logistics, and we hope that everything will follow through with us to have our town hall, and it will be at 6:30. We thought to have it a little earlier, but we've just learned that the Education Department has a conference-wide program that they will be doing, I believe starting at 4:30, and so we want to make sure that we're not in conflict with them. But we will keep you abreast. We have to work out some technical things, but we do want to have the church family to call in to talk with us, and we to share with you, and you may have questions, and we want to be sure to deal with that. God has been good to us this year in so many ways. He's protected us. We're here every Sabbath, every Wednesday. Pastoral staff is here just about daily during the week. There's pastors here to take care of the needs of our members, to answer calls, to make calls, just to respond. We have counseling going on, but we're doing so in the safest way that we know how, following best practices. Continue to keep us in prayer that God will bless us. We thank God for your faithfulness. Membership of the church has been extremely faithful this year, in spite of all the ups and downs, unemployment, underemployment. God has provided. And financially, the church is doing what needs to be done by way of holding up our expenses, or taking care of obligations, and our tithe income has remained steady. So we want to thank you, the church family, for your faithfulness. Now, you know, traditionally we say that December is the month where we square up with God. So I'm appealing to you to make sure that you square up with God this month. God has blessed and kept you and your family. So we're asking you to square up with God during this month of December. We haven't said much recently regarding the media upgrade, but please make no mistake about it. It is still something that we're hoping to do in the very near future. So I'm making this appeal during this holiday season when giving, our hearts are opened and so forth. Please make this a priority. Some of you that are listening to this message today, you are in a position where you can basically underwrite this. Pray about it. Ask God to direct you. But we need to upgrade our media infrastructure. A lot of our equipment and technology is 20, 30 years old. We thank God for what it is doing in making sure that every Sabbath we can broadcast and bring to you our worship experiences via the internet platforms and so forth. But make no mistake about it, we do need to upgrade. So we're asking you, make it a matter of prayer. Ask God what He wants you to do, and please help us in this endeavor. It's costing us, it will cost several $100,000. Really, the low estimate so far has been about $275,000, and it goes up from there. Equipment is not cheap, and we're talking about a whole restructuring of the media infrastructure. I want to thank the technicians, the members of the church who serve as our technicians. They have been working with equipment that's dated, but thank God they're familiar with it. So when things break, thank God for those who are here. They know what to do to kind of make it work so that you can continue to receive what you have been receiving by way of our program offerings. We're hoping to do some new things for the new year by way of programming. We'll keep you abreast of it. We're working on that now. One of the focuses will be to provide support, information, education as it relates to the mental health issues that this pandemic has brought about. So be watching for that. We will probably have our first program in January, and so keep your eyes out for that. We are asking that you remember to keep us lifted up in prayer, the pastoral staff, and all that we do. Pray for the band, the praise team members who are working through this pandemic, to be sure that every Sabbath we make sure that our programming offerings are the best that we can do under difficult circumstances. Keep that in mind. Our New Year's Eve communion service will be at 6:30. So we will not have prayer meeting the Wednesday night prior to, on the 30th. There'll be no prayer meeting, but we will have the New Year's Eve communion service at 6:30 New Year's Eve. So keep that in mind. We will give you further information as to how you can pick up the emblems. It'll be similar to what we did before relative to you coming by, and for those of you who just can't get by the church, we will try to make arrangements to have it dropped off. But we will give you the times when the emblems can be secured so that you can participate with us during the New Year's Eve communion service. I'm looking forward to it, to celebrate how good God has been. One of the things that we're hoping to do is to have just a roll call. Families who have lost loved ones during this year. We're going to need your help with this. The clerks are putting together their list, and what we will do is to post it on the website. So we're going to ask the members to look at it, make sure if your relative, if your family was not included, we don't want to omit anyone. So if you can help us with this, we would certainly appreciate that. The bathroom in the mother's room, that is gone. It's almost at completion stage. It's a few more things to do to bring that to fruition. And so we thank God for the R3 committee, Kenneth Fraser and the team who have been sort of overseeing that. We are at the place where the elevator project is moving forward. We are at the final stages of reviewing the contract. So sometime early in the year, that work will commence. We still need funding. We have most of the funds, but we do need some additional funding to make sure that that project happens in 2021. It is because of your faithfulness, your giving, your prayerful support that all of these things are happening. There are many other things. We'll share that with you during the town hall. You'll have some questions, and we hope we'll have some answers. And we'll share with you what we're hoping to do for the new year, operationally wise, spiritual wise, relational, and so forth. So keep us in prayer. Call if you have any questions. One of us will be here. If you don't get us directly, Joe is always here throughout the day. Leave a message with him, and we'll be happy to get back with you. Again, God bless you. We thank God for you. We count it a privilege to serve the Berean family. And so continue to lift us up in prayer, because it's only by and through the grace of God that we're able to continue to do what we're doing at the pace and at the level at which it's being done. We do have one more thing to share with you, and that's the BOMC across the street. Now, we don't have heat in there. Haven't had it for quite a while. I don't know how it's going to be resolved, but that is a very expensive item. But the community services will not be able to stay out there much longer in the cold. We have to move indoors. Last season, we had a rented unit for the winter season to provide heat so that they can do what they did. But we're hoping that we can do better. So we're again asking you to make this a matter of prayer, that God will bless us, that you will provide us with the assistance needed in order to make sure that that building is heated throughout the winter months. There's some other repairs and maintenance issues there. It's very extensive, but we will share more of that with you during the town hall meeting. Keep us in prayer. Have a wonderful day. Be sure to tune in for a prayer meeting tonight. Over the next 3 Wednesdays, we're doing a series leading up to the birth of Christ. So God bless you. God keep you. May His hands protect and guide you throughout this day, you and your entire family. God bless you. Pastor Jack, representing the pastoral team here at the Berean Church. Stay well. Stay safe.